Step into the Incense and Whiskey sanctuary with mindfulness enthusiasts and verified whiskey lovers, Mecca and Ashley, as they discuss all the random topics they love, from mindfulness to memes. This is Ashley.
And this is Mecca.
Mecca, what is this eargasm I'm having? What's going on right now? Are you playing sound bowls?
Yeah, I thought I would, take this Saturday to kind of like break up any energy I have going on. So I brought with me to bring your loved ones to work. I brought my Tibetan bowl, and then I have a crystal quartz bowl here as well.
So which one was the first one that we heard, or were we just hearing one of the bowls just now?
The first one was my Tibetan sound bowl, and then it ended with the crystal quartz bowl, and that's attuned to C note. E, which is like the crown chakra.
Oh, so how do you know that? Did you take some sort of training, or did you?
No, I do read a lot. I read a lot before. I had my first sound therapy kind of healing class maybe in 2017, but and then it was like reintroduced to me again in 2019, and I was just like, I'm really interested in what this is all about. So I just started reading a lot about it. There's a few books I read, and then I bought a few bowls just to practice, because it's all about like practice. And then last year, February of last year, living in DC, they have these amazing like sound healers there, and I took this guy's like certification class. And that was just like more in-depth learning and kind of really getting the semantics and the semantics of playing the bowls, the energy, the energy on the why, and learning a lot more about the history of it. Yeah. So yeah, that was really fun. But it all comes with practice. Like I can go to, certification, but you really have to practice it. And that's sometimes just on your own and figuring it out.
And so when you say, make it make sense for me, Mecca, when you say practice, do you mean practicing playing the bowls? Or do you mean practicing like how you would have like a meditation practice? Like you're engaging with it, and how practicing like you're in getting in tune with your response to it. What do you mean?
Like physically practicing it, and then like keeping it as a meditative. It's a meditative tool as well. So yes, physically practice it, but not only practicing the sound bowls, but there's like this energy that you can kind of shift for yourself prior to doing it, and there's a way to kind of keep yourself in that mode all the time. I'm not there yet, but there's a whole like so whenever I say practice, yes, I do mean physically, but I also mean just your day-to-day like life as well. In the practice in there.
So tell me, is there any particular moment that sticks out to you as that's when I really understood what sound healing meant or felt like for me?
Well, before I had any before I had read a book and I had just went to a class and I had no prior knowledge to it, the first thing I said is like, it felt like a massage to my brain. It felt like almost like, this is going to be TMI, but imagine having a piece of food, something really tough stuck in your between your teeth, and you use a dental floss to get it. It kind of have a little bit of a relief, and it feels good. And you didn't realize that part was stuck. that's the second way. Like I literally was like, I felt like I just had a dental floss for my brain. So you didn't even know certain things were stuck in the bowls were just kind of like, you know, pulling things out that you didn't even know was there.
Yeah. And have you, during the experience of sound healing or playing the bowls yourself, have you ever felt a reaction in other parts of your body, or is it primarily your brain for you, or in general for people?
Definitely other parts of my body. So for me, what I've learned is that my brain is like in my intestines, meaning like not physically, but like how I think, right? I think on my gut. I think with my intuition a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
And so I noticed one time I had this done, and it felt like I had a belt on my stomach when I laid down. And then once the bowls started going, I felt like shreds of the belt just kept like popping off. And then finally it was like loose. And I was like, oh my God, did you touch my stomach? Cause you know, my eyes are closed. Wow. And the practitioner was like, no.
No, girl, I did not touch you.
He was like, no. And I was like, oh snap. Like that was a feeling that I had never
had. Like, oh,
before.
this is something different. This is
something different. And then I was like, oh my God, this is like, you know, crazy. It's funny because there's this book. I haven't finished reading it, but the book is called, here, I'm going to tell you right quick. And I'm saying this for a point, but the book is called The Healing Power of Sound by Dr. Gaynor. And it basically says that if we accept that sound vibration is a healing, and along with the vibrational touches of our physical being, then we should also understand that when sound is heard, it's not only through our ears, but it's also through every cell of our bodies. So like one of the reasons sound healing on a basic level is it touches so deeply is because it transforms us emotionally and spiritually as well. Mm-hmm. So like I just told you, kind of like a feeling of dental floss, you know, getting a piece of food or a piece of particle that, you know, it kind of bothers you, but it's not bothering you enough to do anything about it. So it's kind of like sound. Sound can readdress imbalance on every level of your psychological being. It can also play a positive role in like treatment of any medical disorder. And I'm not going to say like this is going to heal like cancer or heal. There are studies though that they have shown that infusing cells with this high vibrational sound can shift them. So I'm not saying it cures that, but it does aid in a solution when you're repetitive, consistent, and really practicing it. And that could be practice listening. Like, you know, if you don't have bowls, you can always go on YouTube, but that also could be you physically practicing it as well. So yeah.
And then can you tell me, are there certain, I think I heard you say that this was, what you just played was on an E note. Are there certain notes or keys that generate different responses that you know of, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so the one I have here, this crystal quartz, this one was attuned to, what did I tell you? It's attuned to, I think, E, and it focuses on your crown chakra. And so, you can have various bowls that are attuned to a certain key or a certain chakra that really like speaks to that directly. That's something that, you know, you can purchase like that. Or, you know, there's ways that you can do it yourself as a tuning. That's not something I know how to do yet, but, and let me correct myself. Note B. That's what I've been using. Note B. So I just wanted to correct that. But yes, you can have it to various tunes and notes.
So if we were to engage in a sound healing experience moment right now, would you recommend I sit down, lie down, close my eyes? Is there any recommendation you have on that?
Yeah. I'll tell you what I do as, you know, as a listener and how I take it in. I usually, like, say I'm going to a sound healing event or whatever, I usually, everyone has a mat. So you do have like a yoga mat, or you have something that gives you a little cushion between the floors. If you're at home, it's nice to have like your favorite blanket or some type of wrap over you. Not to say it's going to be cold. It's just a feeling of like protective.
Coziness.
Okay. Right.
Got it. Yeah.
And so say you have that, I would lay down on the floor, and whatever end that your speaker is on or your phone, I would lay the opposite of that, making my head at the focal point of where the sound is coming from. So if I'm in a room and a sound healer is in the front of the room, I would sit, wherever I want to sit, but I would make sure my physical head that's laying down is towards the front of the room. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
So, and then that way you can kind of like just soak in all of the yumminess. And then close your eyes. Yeah. Just like, it's like you get ready to go on a ride, right? So close your eyes, put your little blankie on, lay down, and just get into it.
I'm into it.
Ashley, have you ever had a sound bath?
I'm getting one right now. My eyes are closed. No, I never have. I'm very, I'm into this. I'm curious. I want to do more.
I'm giving Ashley. Usually, your practitioner may be saying something like, close your eyes, think of green pastures, think of the thing that brings you the most joy. So I love the bowls, but I'm really excited as well because at the same time learning the bowls, I also went to a gong wash. So that's, they use these water terms because you're immersed in this feeling.
Okay.
So the gong wash I love so much. I am actually getting ready to take a class for that. And I'm taking a class so I can learn it. But then there's also this process of purchasing the gong too. That's going to be really fun. But yeah, if you guys want to read any more about it, I would say the healing power of sound is a good book. There's this guy from Skidmore University. He did a TED talk about it, which I thought was pretty cool. But yeah, you can even just kind of like, look up sound healing, sound effects, increasing your vibration versus or with sound. Those are some terms that you can look up.
Thank you, Mecca. I love that.
Any more
I can't wait to look into it more. No, this was amazing, and I'm looking forward to future sound baths.
Well, stay tuned. Happy New Year, Ashley.
Happy New Year. 2021, off to a banging start.
That is, I'm sure that was pun intended.
Yo, somebody said the new year is not going to start for them until January 20th, and I understand.
Right. Technically the new year starts for me every September. So for me, I always kind of take my birthday and make that the new year.
I do that too. So my birthday is next week, and that usually is my new year. It's rough having a January birthday. It's right after the holidays. People tend to not want to do anything, or they're doing like dry January, and usually I'm not with that. I'm like, no, I'm drinking something on my birthday. But anyway, it's a
right.
new year.
No, you're right though.
By calendar standards.
But with the
whenever you choose to make your new year.
Right. Whatever day. I was just looking at something the other day, like in Rome, like in the Roman calendar, the new year is considered like March 1st. And there's still some people that recognize that as their new year. So like March 1st. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah. I have heard of that, mostly because I took a lot of Latin classes and learned
Okay.
Greek and Roman history when I was in school. But then also I have a lot of cousins that are Chinese and celebrate Chinese New Year. So yeah, the idea of having a New Year that's other than January 1st is not an unusual concept. So whenever you choose to celebrate, Happy New Year.
I know that's right.
Speaking of New Year, Mecca, we talked about our intentions for this new year, and I thought it's a good time. We're getting started. I want to check in. How's it going over there?
I want to be full transparent.
Okay.
For me, my new year technically hasn't started. You know, when people are like, oh God, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I mean, I've been in it. So I started doing I've been in it, but I moved into a new apartment recently. So I just really feel like until my apartment is like settled and I like can sit at my desk comfortably and I can look across the room and see like clear space, then I won't start my new year until that's done. And so, but yeah, so far it's going good. You know, there's things that I kind of always have intentions for quarterly that kind of helps me get through the year. And so far I would say I'm on task. I make I don't make them large plans. I like to surprise and delight myself. So
surprise and delight.
If I just try to make them real small.
I'm hurt, y'all. She said I like to surprise.
Yeah, real small. Okay, day 3. Make sure that you leave the kitchen clean, so you walk into a clean kitchen. That's small, you know.
Yeah,
that's an intention.
Yeah, I agree.
That's not all my intentions, but I definitely try to keep them small and edible and you know biteable, so I can not feel like, oh my God, it's you know. It's February and I need to do blah, 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 blah. Exactly.
Yeah. I feel that. What is it? It's like a SMART goal. It's achievable. It's like one of the key components.
Yeah,
achievable. Goal.
Right.
I like that. Okay.
How about you? What's going on with you?
I'm looking. So as I just said, my birthday is next week. So like that's official New Year kickoff. I'm looking at my vision board right now because my vision board, I made it in like October. I was ready.
Okay.
I'm like looking at it.
Right. Let me start now.
I'm done with this. Let me start playing it for the future. So I'm looking at mine right now, and I feel like, as I said earlier, my vision board was a lot about how I want to feel this year and what I want to experience in terms of thinking about my life in the longer term and thinking about defining success differently for myself and really thriving and having moments of luxury. And so I feel like I am wading into the deeper waters of that like pool that I've created. I also want to say, I gotta be transparent too. I had agreed to some stuff before the new year that carried into this week, and it wore me out. And I said, and this is why we're not gonna do this for the rest of the year.
Right. Listen, I want to talk to you about what? I mean, you have an hour to talk? Okay, well, what's this regarding? Like, I want to know what's going on. Nobody else is.
Give me the agenda before. I need the meeting agenda in advance. Yes, I was talking to myself this week. I said, listen, I knew when I agreed, the problem is, somebody asked me to do something for work, and I said, let me think about it. I knew I should have said no, but I talked myself into it. And then this week I was like, see, this is why we should have said no. So I'm taking that to heart, and I'm telling myself we're not going to do this for the rest of 2021. So yeah. So yeah, we can have I need an accountability partner. So we're gonna check in again.
Let's talk about it again. Yeah. I mean, and speaking of vision boards, I really do like that idea of vision boards. You know, this is something I've been practicing as a little girl. So and sometimes I keep a lot of my vision boards so I can see how far it's gone. But you know, I've upgraded from my poster board life. And I'm actually gonna work on my intentions like tomorrow. Like, I'd love to get a picture frame and like some photos that I've printed off and really like get in on this. So I love the fact that you are doing intentions of the feeling, because the feeling, you're not really dictating the process. You're just dictating the outcome of how you get there. So I love that.
Yeah.
How are you guys? I'll be curious to know how our listeners are doing with their intention setting. I mean, though this is just, the beginning of January, sometimes it takes us a bit to get off that new year, like to get off that, last year, new year vibe. So I'll be curious, you guys. Tell us how you guys are doing with your intentions.
Yeah, let us know. Mecca, I'm so excited to talk to you about the stuff that I'm into right now. I want to know what you're into, but I got some stuff I gotta get off my chest.
Right, I want to hear what you got to say, but let me tell you first.
I'm that Kanye. I'm gonna let you have your turn. But first, I'm gonna say this. Okay, so some stuff that I'm into right now. I am into Dionne Warwick's Twitter messages. Her tweets. Listen, okay. You know who Dionne Warwick is, right?
I know who Dionne Warwick is.
Godmother of music. What? She's been on Twitter lighting people up. I saw
that. The first one I ever saw was when she said, "Why are you saying D in front of your name?"
Yes, and she called out the weekend. It was like, and you didn't even spell it right. And then she called out Chance the Rapper.
Yes.
He was like, hold on. I can't even get over the fact that you know who I am. Like,
I think that is so funny too, because it's like, girl, I mean, where has she been? Is she really doing this, or is it somebody else?
She's really the one tweeting. I read an article that said, I think it was like her granddaughter or niece, somebody confirmed, like, this really is her on Twitter. No one's managing the account.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
And it's so consistent that I do believe that it's really her. It's like so funny to me. I crack up anytime I read her tweets or somebody like talking about her tweets. It kills me. She had like somehow she photoshopped one of Nicki Minaj's wigs onto a photo of herself and was like something like, I hope Nicki likes my new hair. And I was just like, oh
okay,
God.
You know what? Right there, that tells me she didn't do that one herself. She didn't.
Maybe she didn't do the photo herself, but I'm sure she tweeted it. The point is, it's been giving me a lot of life lately. I love it. I enjoy it. Something else that I'm really into, Bridgerton on Netflix, which is, I don't know if you've seen it. Yes. Have you seen it? Yo, I'm about to watch it a second time.
Wait, do you think I should watch it a second time? I love it.
Let me break this down for you. I was talking to one of my friends about this because we both really like historical fiction.
Yeah.
But also, she's also a Black woman. We're also both kind of like, we love these things. Like, we love Pride and Prejudice. We love historical fiction, but we don't love that we are not represented in these stories, right?
Right.
So I was texting with her and I was like, do you think you'll read the book series to go with it? Like, what do you think? And I thought about it and I said, you know what? Actually, I don't know if I want to read the book series because there's so much that's happening in the show that I know is not in the book, right? Like Queen Charlotte, the Black Queen, is not in the book. There's not that representation, right? Like the Duke is not a Black man in the book, obviously. And there's so much about the dialogue and the costumes and like the genuine connection and chemistry between the characters that I enjoy watching that I'll probably not read the book or the series, to be honest. But I love Bridgerton. And as I was describing the things that I like about the show, I was like, I need to watch this again. Like, I enjoyed it so much, so I need to watch it again. What are your thoughts?
I agree. I got put onto it, like, I guess last week or 2 weeks. Oh, last week. I don't know. But the short of it is, at first I was like, oh, I like a period piece. I love historical movies. I like to see historical movies when I see myself in it. I actually like some romance novels. And to answer your question, Shonda put Shonda's spin on it. She put her sauce on it.
Oh, for sure.
Like, the representation is not in the book. Like, it's not going to even feel the same. So, you know what? It took me like 2 episodes to even wrap my head around the people that were in there that were like non-European.
Yeah.
That they weren't in like a servant role or some type of like
yes.
role. So every time I'm like, oh, they're mad at her because she's Black. I mean, I couldn't even believe how my brain was training myself, because I'm like, wait, no, they dismissed her because of her class. Like, it was so refreshing. So it took me a couple episodes to like rework my brain, you guys.
Yeah.
So I loved every bit of it. I will say it was visually like a visual feast. Like the colors, the hair, this it was beautifully created. I do have one thing, I love the Duke. The Duke was like, oh my God, like I'm in love. Like I have love it. But one thing I didn't understand, and I thought the casting was really great up until the point of like the lead Daphne. I liked her if I close my eyes and just listen to her, I love 100%. But then when I look at her visually, she looked so young, almost like a 12-year-old. It was some scenes that was a little harder for me to digest.
Oh yeah.
But her talking, her personality definitely went with his, which was great. But like visually, she looked really, really young, and I was just like cringing.
Gotcha.
But overall, the casting was perfect, down to who we figured out who Miss Whistledown was, and the Queen.
This is getting me so excited. I need to watch it.
And I had like it's so funny because I started like, oh my God, I knew that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I really enjoyed it. I will definitely be there for anything else that's created under Bridgerton with Shonda Rhimes. And I think I'm going to go for round 2 as well.
Yeah, I think I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm into the Duke for sure too. I also read an article this morning where they said the success of Bridgerton has now there's like some website that's running, like they're taking bets on who's going to be the next James Bond or 007.
Do they think it's going to be, I can't even say his name. Let's say Reggae.
I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. I'm just going to keep calling him the Duke because I'm into that. His chances have like increased exponentially now with the release of Bridgerton. Yes. And I was like, yes, I would watch him as James Bond for sure.
We've been sleeping on him because he's been out for a while.
I didn't know. I also recently saw him in Sylvie's Love, so that's also something I'm into romance right now.
I love Sylvie's Love. I watched it as well.
A little bit. Yes, I've been into romance for a little bit. I think I said this earlier in the podcast. Like for me, the rom-com made a comeback in the last like 2 years or so. Romance novels are making a stronger appearance on the scene, and then movies like Sylvie's Love are the things that we need. And I really appreciate that they showcased like the human experience and romance between a Black couple. And it was truly about the interpersonal connection. And the story was not based around some trauma or racially traumatic experience. And I'm not saying that I don't want to celebrate films or media that showcase that, but I really want a moment where we can watch a story. Like I love Jones, or like something that
100%
is really about like the relationship and the connection. And I loved it so much. But yeah, we've been sleeping on the Duke. Like I'm here for it. All the things. I want to see him on more.
I love it. Sylvie's Love has been something I watched, and I loved every minute of it. I also would agree with you in regards to like how they portray the relationship. I mean, I couldn't even believe it. I was just like, at first I was like, oh, it's so sappy, but it was so genuine and pure. And then I love how they created the period piece on there. You know what I didn't know that I found out about, and then I started like going to like a ton of his work, but I didn't realize that the husband was Kerry Washington's husband.
Oh yeah. I was telling someone about this. I cannot think of his name right now, but he is the main character in Sylvie's Love is Kerry Washington's husband. And I don't know if you know this, but he had like a whole football career before he even got into acting. Did a couple of things on Broadway. I think maybe some smaller roles. And then I think he helped to co-produce Sylvie's Love. And I felt he was amazing in the film. I enjoyed his acting. I enjoyed their rapport and their dialogue. I have a whole brand new respect for Tessa Thompson too, because I haven't really seen Tessa Thompson in much outside of, I think, like the Marvel movies maybe. So I was really appreciative to see her in this kind of role. And I also felt like it was a pretty honest depiction of communication breakdowns in relationships, and how when we fail to communicate what's happening with us to our partner, it can derail or deter the growth of the relationship. But it was very clear that they were meant to be together and kept coming back to one another. And I love that we got a happy ending out of it, which is like essential to a romance story. So I loved it. Might watch that one again too.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So Sylvie's Love.
Anything else you're into?
Bridgerton. Yeah, you know what I got into just recently, and it's so funny, is Yearly Departed. Have you seen that?
Oh, I just watched it the other night. I wish I saw it before the new year.
I was laughing so hard. And you guys, it doesn't matter when you watch it. I know what you're saying, but it still holds true. And it's so hilarious. And then the cast is like, okay, come through cast.
Top notch.
You had a cast of like Phoebe Robinson. You had Tiffany Haddish,
Sarah Silverman,
and
Natasha Rothwell, and not new, they were new to me, like some other female comedians that I had not heard of, but
like
were
who? Had you ever heard of
truly hilarious. No, I think the other one I never heard of was Zyway. Is that how you say her name?
Oh yeah.
I had never seen her perform before or was familiar with her work, and I thought that she was really funny too. It was solid, and it was amazing on the back end how you could see they were never actually weren't actually in the same room together, and how they were able to use technology. Was blowing my mind. Like you would never thought that they were not.
Had they not shown that, I would have been like, "What?" Yeah, right?
Technology is blowing my mind.
Yeah, so definitely Yearly Departed was a nice, funny watch. It's only like, less than an hour, but it's really funny. So if you need a good laugh and kind of like go through all the messiness and all the things that you went through in 2020, they kind of summed it up in a less than an hour kind of like skit.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty funny. Something else I've been into is, late at night when I can't go to sleep, sometimes I go to Instagram and see what's going on out there in the world. Like that's the world, but it's not. It's this Instagram world. It's this one girl. I discovered her because I don't know how she was mimicking Toni Braxton. So basically she has this beautiful vocal voice, and she has the ability to mimic a little bit of mimic, but a lot of her own style into various distinct voices. So I saw her originally, like, I think on Toni Braxton's page, because she just kind of like did a little skit between Toni Braxton and Siri, like on your iPhone. She was basically trying to tell Siri to remind her to do something, but she was singing it in a deep Toni Braxton voice where she doesn't. Yeah. So it was just very funny because it was like Toni Braxton being Toni Braxton in her voice, and Siri being like, "Can you pronunciate?" So it was good. So she did this whole skit about all the divas being in quarantine together, and one was like Beyonce, Kim Kardashian, Cardi B, and Nicki Minaj, and Erykah Badu. They were all quarantined together. They were going to play.
That's an odd mix to be quarantined
together. And it was cool. And Jade played all of those roles.
She played all the characters.
All of them. I mean, I could not believe it. She had Beyonce's voice down. She had Beyonce's kind of demeanor down. She had Kim's whole demeanor down. Cardi B, Erykah Badu, now that's the one you didn't know if it was Erykah or if it was Jade. That's how good it was.
Oh, okay.
So she kind of gave us this skit. It was I think 5 parts, but it started out with them playing games to singing. She even put in a spoof on Tabitha Brown. Tabitha Brown is like this African-American vegan guru. We love her. She put her into it, but a reverse version of her. So it was fun. I think it was like at Jade Nova. It just kept me laughing because her vocals were amazing. So she was like kind of mimicking Erykah Badu was like the leader, and she was just singing all of Erykah songs and also talking to them in Erykah Badu's like singing voice. Yeah. So it was funny because you can see everybody's personality. But Jade Nova, I think it's Jadeve, Jade, and then Nova, Novah. She was really funny. Okay. So that kind of kept me going. If you like something funny and vocally beautiful as well. So that's kind of like what I've been into. I've been catching up on my Red Table Talk because I think it's always hilarious and informative. Yeah. That's what I've been into. Catch us next time on Incense and Whiskey.
In the meantime, take a breath, have a sip.